Frack on. Welcome to the episode of Frack the Canon. I am joined by the coolest motherfucker around, my brother from another mother, Mr. CJ McCree from Milwaukee. How you doing? It's just been a minute.
It has been a minute since we've been up in it. What is up, sir?
I'm just tired, We're talking about I'm tired, old. To quote that, not Danny Glover, Donald Glover. No, Danny Glover. I'm too old for this poop. 37. So Thanksgiving is upon us. Thanksgiving traditions, Thanksgiving holidays, Thanksgiving binging. What do you know? So let's start off with a little Thanksgiving tradition, CJ, or thing that we're thankful for too. What are you thankful for this year so far?
As you know, and maybe some of the viewers know or whatever, I did start a new job this year at the first of this year. So I'm thankful for that. I pretty much hated my other job. So I'm thankful that I was able to move around and get into something different and better. It's always nice to move different or elevate, if you will, make a little progress. Spend those RPG skill points.
I hear you. I'm thankful for literally like I'm just like I feel like it kind of tough a little bit. Like I'm thankful for my job right now. I'm thankful that I have that. Not everyone can have that luxury. I feel like it's a luxury right now to say that. Um, I'm in like I'm in a good place right now. Like I've been in a good place. I haven't been in a good place in a minute, and I felt that I'm thankful for that right now. Just being in a better place, emotionally, mentally. Yeah, I'm thankful for that too. I'm thankful for, as always, I love you guys. I love you, CJ. Like you're my longest friends since like I keep saying my brother from another mother, but I say I love you like a brother. So I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for everyone.
Love you too, brother.
Um, but yeah, so let's talk about Thanksgiving traditions. What is your Thanksgiving tradition as a family? Or
I
what do you
mean,
do?
Thanksgiving, I really like Thanksgiving outside of just getting together and hanging out. You know what I mean? We'll be, prepping the turkey, whatever, all that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say we have any specific Thanksgiving traditions. You know what I mean? At some point, the family kind of gets together and eats a lot of food. You know what I mean? Like, but we did this past weekend. We all uh met at a hotel and kind of did like the big family get together. But
That's cool.
the food wasn't a part of that. It was more like a let's hang out as a family, and like a lot of people came from across the country to kind of hang out, and it was in some ways like a little mini family reunion kind of a thing. And so that was cool. Like, but it was minus traditional Thanksgiving dinner. So we are still doing that, but obviously it'll be, family to family. But yeah, outside of just getting together, like, yeah, like I know some families have specific Thanksgiving traditions. We never really had any specific Thanksgiving tradition. Like when it comes to Christmas, it's a little bit different, what I mean, stuff that we do every year. Thanksgiving, really, we cook and eat. You know what I mean? There's football on at some point.
That's right. There is football. I think it's the Niners Seahawks.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I know the
I think
Packers playing too, but they're let's just say they're in a reforming year, so it's hard to be excited.
I'm thankful for the Niners this year. I'm thankful for Brock Purdy. There you go. I'm thankful for Brock Purdy. um, that same. So yeah, see, we never had major traditions. Just always turkey. It's always the cooking, the fighting. I would stay in my room. I'm like I've learned to either be out of the house. I'm gonna go anywhere else but here right now. Luckily, I have to work for a minute at Univision for a couple. So I'll be like, get out my mom's way for a minute. Yeah, nothing like I know. I always my thing. I would always start with garlic bread. My mom would buy garlic bread from Safeway or Dad, and that was my favorite food too. I'm like, and I would throw some mashed potatoes and gravy. I know it sounds horrible, but I liked it. I like it a lot.
We never really had garlic bread at ours. We honestly don't really have mashed potatoes and gravy on Thanksgiving either.
Really?
We have like different sides. Like we got like my mom does a broccoli rice and cheese casserole a lot. I like there's the dressing, you know what I mean? And maybe mac and cheese sometimes, and stuff like that. But yeah, we don't do a lot of mashed potatoes isn't a staple at our Thanksgiving table.
Interesting. Well, I remember there was a minute we would get Boston Market. I don't know if that was the thing there, but it was kind of like KFC, but a little bit faster, a little bit
Hmm.
not trendier, but just
They got that rotisserie or whatever. Like,
yeah, exactly. And so we would always get that, and we would get yeah, mashed potatoes and gravy. And I'm like, give me as big as mashed and I would at the end it would be any mashed potatoes that's left over, I would eat because it would just I like it. I love mashed potatoes.
I love my carbs too, and potatoes. I love every potato.
um, alrighty. Thanksgiving. This was your idea. You want to talk about the binge?
Yeah. So, well, one thing I was thinking of because like I figured if we were doing a Thanksgiving episode, like the go-to is like, hey, what are you thankful for? Be Thanksgiving traditions, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what else do you do? You know what I mean? So I was just like, well, what can you do to tie it to kind of more our subject matter? And so I just thought, in this holiday season, there's a lot of vacations going on, and maybe you haven't had vacation for a while, like me, and all of a sudden you got 4 days to do nothing. You know what I mean? So it's just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, so I thought maybe you need some holiday binge ideas, whether it be like some kind of show to catch up on, a couple of movies or something like that, or even video game wise. You know what I mean? You got a little time on your hands, be it Thanksgiving or Christmas. Um, and you're like, and you can catch up on something on your backlog or whatever. So I figure maybe, as much as we can kind of, I don't know how long we want to do this, but as much as we can kind of, come up with here and there, maybe I'll come up with something and you come up with something, I'll think of something, and then we'll just kind of bop back and forth. And so the first thing I want to think of, let me see. I know I've brought this up before, but there's a lot of anime out there. And I one anime that I feel like I always am watching because there's so freaking much of it is One Piece. And so it's like I'm always watching One Piece. So I could throw out there, in this vacation time, if you got some time off and haven't started One Piece, now's a great time to start One Piece. It's on a lot of things now. It's on Netflix, Hulu, Crunchyroll if you got that, Funimation if you still got that. Um
Everywhere. Like
yeah,
I'm like I have to watch it now.
it's
Sorry.
on so much, but if you got a few days off, you can get you can get at least as far as the live action show got. You know what I mean? Like so, yeah, I gotta recommend that.
It's funny because I'm watching on Apple TV Monarch Legacy
Okay,
of Monsters. It's pretty good. I'm like, and you know me, CJ. I love like I want to see monster fight monsters. I want to see guys. That's why I watch my adult films. I want to watch the action. I want to watch the story. They are delving into the human characters a lot more, but for somehow the human characters are tied to. So a little bit of a spoiler, right here is you find out that one of the main characters' dad disappeared, died or whatever. She goes to Japan to find out what happened, and then she finds out that he has a secret family that they didn't know about. She didn't know about, like who, and she has a brother about her age, maybe a little bit younger, maybe 2 to 3 years younger. And you find, and they keep going more and more, and they find out he's in Monarch. What's Monarch? And then you find out that their grandma, his mom, the guy with beard, was part of like the original like Monarch beginning, and like I just left off where the U.S. government just detonated an atomic bomb on Godzilla, and she goes, no, so they're like the beginning of this company or this government branch, and it ended. And the cool thing, one of the cool things too, is that Kurt Russell's in it, but his son plays the younger version of himself in that character. I'm like, dude, I would have never thought of that. Like, that is pretty cool casting. Like, the USA
interesting.
agent is Kurt Russell, is Snake Eyes. That
Dallas
is,
to Captain America.
it is really. I'm surprised how much. Because, like I said, I just want to see monster fight monsters, but like, nah, this is pretty good human development character piece. I like it a lot.
I'll ask, and I didn't. I did say there's a million episodes of One Piece, but how long is since we're talking like holiday binge worthy? How long is that show?
So I believe it's 10 episodes right now. They just this week, as of today, they released episode 3. So yeah, and it's really good. It's. I'm surprised how much I'm enjoying myself watching this show so far because it cuts it jumps back in time between the late 40s, early 50s, and 2015 today. It's I think it's before Godzilla King of Monsters or Godzilla versus Kong, but it's after the first Godzilla the second American Godzilla movie. So it's kind of time traveling, time jumping, but it's done really really well. Mm-hmm.
All right. My second suggestion, it's less of a specific suggestion and more of like, I guess, a heads up. Where I'm bringing a little bit of Frack the console here. It is Black Friday week, which means that I can almost guarantee that Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, probably Steam are all running Black Friday deals on their digital game sales. So if there was some game that you have been waiting on picking up or splurging on, maybe check your digital store. It might be on a significant sale right now. It's a lot of stuff that's like 50 and 60% off, and like it'll be deeper on Black Friday. Um, if you're like me, who bought 1 million games this year and can't finish them, it's also a great time to dip into your backlog and maybe finally finish that game from last November that you bought that is still that is still there. I'm looking at you, Marvel Midnight Suns.
I when you told me it was an RPG, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm straight. Um, Something that I'm gonna do this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, is there's a expo or convention up here called San Francisco Fan Expo, and it seems that this year the theme is, I guess I don't know what the theme was last year, but this year it seems to be Star Wars and DC because they're bringing in a lot of characters. They're bringing in Mark Hamill, Ewan McGregor, Boba Fett's gonna be there, and so is young Boba Fett. Um, I don't know the real names, but I'm gonna be there this weekend. And I just need a good nerd. I haven't had a proper nerd out since like I think since before lockdown. I just need to nerd out. I just need to nerd out with my expletive deleted out. I'm excited to see. For me personally, it's the original voice cast of the Ninja Turtles, the 1987 Ninja Turtles, and Jason Lee's going to be there too. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to take. I'm like, what can it take that he didn't sign? I'm like, I think I have my Dogma DVDs here somewhere. I might have him sign that because that is so hard to find now.
You got Incredibles?
I do have the Incredible. That's right. I forgot about that.
Don't you have My Name Is Earl too?
But I do have. Do I have Incredibles too? I think I do, but I don't remember liking Incredibles 2 as much as the first one. I'm like,
no, I was saying, don't you have My Name Is Earl as well?
oh, I saw that. I needed money. I saw that season 1, but yeah, because I let you borrow it, didn't I? In film school,
probably. Shot. Yeah, I liked. I thought My Name Is Earl was clever.
I thought season 1 was the best season. I think there was only 4 seasons, but I think I stopped watching by season 3 or at the end of season 3. I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, I'm done. I'm out. But yeah, I think he is Jason Lee. I'm like, I haven't seen Jason Lee do anything in a minute, so maybe that's what he's here. Maybe, I don't know.
He's here. Was there a suggestion in there or just anecdote? I guess
anecdote. Sorry, just an anecdote. Sorry, just comic book stuff. I'm pretty sure there's some comic book stuff around that it might be. Yeah, no suggestion. Yeah. That's what I'm doing.
No, for sure. Also, if you guys read comic books, you know what I mean, it's a perfect time to catch up on that too.
Oh my god, dude, I have so many comic books to read too. I have like a pack. I haven't read like 3 months worth of comic books. I've just been so busy. I'm like, all right, I need to. Yeah,
tell me about it. Like feel like less and less like energy for the stuff that I feel like I like or used to like, or you know what I mean, like stuff that I'm like used to doing. And it's like I haven't like I'm such a speaking of another suggestion. Let's roll this into another suggestion. I am so far behind on my MCU stuff. That is something like people, if you like MCU, if you haven't been catching up on those shows or whatever, or you haven't felt like the need to keep up with it because you feel some type of way about how the MCU is now, here's a perfect time to just let it wash over you. You know what I mean? Turn on Secret Invasion finally and finish it. You know what I mean? Or Loki. So I haven't got through that either yet.
Or the Marvels, which I just saw and I forgot what's coming out this year.
Now that I am going to try and make it a point to get there this weekend to see that.
Okay, because I want to talk to you about that, and I want to do an episode about that. Because I have thoughts. What else is there? Oh, something I just discovered recently, because I went down this rabbit hole of Scrubs and Bill Lawrence, and I was watching all these video essays about Frasier and Cheers and Scrubs, and I knew about Spin City when it was on, but I just never watched it. So I've been binge watching Spin City with Michael J. Fox. It's pretty funny. It's I think Bill Lawrence's first show, but I think he co-created it. I think Scrub is original his, but Spin City I think he co-created. Bill Lawrence, who also created Ted Lasso and Cougar Town. And I love Scrubs and I love Ted Lasso. I couldn't get into Cougar Town. I don't know why, but I'm liking Spin City. I think it's pretty funny. Funny seeing some of those characters or actors in Spin City show up in Scrubs. So maybe I should go watch, give a second viewing to what did I just say? Cougar Town.
Cougar Town. Okay.
Yeah.
My next suggestion is minus the MCU. Get yourself into a cinematic universe. There are, ever since MCU came out, there are others that are like that were trying to, like, fake what they were doing, or like bite what they're doing, and obviously they weren't. Nothing has been as successful as the MCU, but maybe there is something that you can get enjoyment out of, right? So I can name off a few, right? There's like Hunger Games. There was a few of those movies. There's what you could say Twilight. You can say the Harry Potter movies. You can say Star Wars. You can say Lord of the Rings. There's actually a lot of kind of cinematic universes. I'll plug one right now that I kind of just got into during the Halloween. I did a little me, my niece, and my nephew. We did a little like scary movie, a little night, not Halloween night, but it was like the week of like Sunday night or something like that. And so one thing that my niece chose was, let's see, The Conjuring. And The Conjuring has like eight. Now, first of all, you gotta like horror movies, but secondly, there's like 8 or 9 like universe Conjuring movies. Right, there are just 3 movies called The Conjuring, but then there's like spin-offs and other stuff like that. Like, so there's like 8 or 9 like Conjuring like universe movies. And after I watched, it's been a while since I actually like really watched a horror movie, but after I watched the first one, I actually thought it was pretty decent. And so I ended up watching all of them. I ended up watching all of them. And so I got off into the Conjuring universe. Maybe that's something you guys like, or some, or just some kind of universe you can get into. I mean, we're talking about time killers here, right? So you can get off into some Fast and Furious or something. You know what I mean? Like, look at all these movies, where they started and where they ended up. What's a couple more? Mission Impossible, which just had a new entry that's dropping soon too. You know what I mean? And then you can go, obviously there's always the MCU tried and true. Then there's the current DCEU that's about to be over. Get yourself into a cinematic universe.
Speaking of the Conjuring universe, I believe they're based on a real couple, or was a real couple. I would listen to his podcast called Mysterious Universe. And it dealt on the paranormal and cryptozoology. What I liked about it's this because of this. They're like, well, let's look at it logically. Like, this is this evidence, whether this date. They looked at it scientifically. I haven't listened to it in a minute, and as of recent, I just haven't listened to it in a minute because I just got busy. But I liked because it was, and they talked about that I guess the family who was based, or the couple was based on. I forgot their name, and I know it's blinking on me, but I'm like, because there was a real.
It's like Lorraine and Ed and Lorraine are their first names. Warren.
Yes, the Warren, exactly. And I remember them. I remember when they came out with Annabelle. I'm like, oh, that's a Raggedy Ann doll, and in the museum, because supposedly it was the Raggedy Ann doll was possessed by, and have it in a case that's chained up or whatever. I'm like, yeah, no, I know it's based on. I'm not messing with these movies personally, because I'm just like, nah, I don't mess around with that.
Having seen them, I know why. Like, having seen them, like, no, you're not wrong. Like, you're not wrong.
Because
I'll
again,
say
like,
the Conjuring universe specifically, like the Conjuring movies are good. every other movie in their franchises like kind of suck. Like kind of suck.
It,
Like the Annabelle movies aren't great. The Nun movies are like worse than that. So
and I think the Nun movies, if I remember, I think I'm not 100% sure. I think it's based on a Mexican legend. Maybe I'm not sure.
um I think you might be talking about La Llorona.
No, no, I know that you don't
No.
have a different one, but there's
Okay.
a different one.
Okay.
I
Okay.
could be wrong, but like you don't know though. I've heard that story so many times as a kid. I've heard so many different variations of La Llorona. Where my family's from, Yucatan, there is La Xtabay, which is a different, not La Llorona, but a different thing where she's this beautiful woman, and she appears to drunk people or whatever, and then like she asks them for a ride or she tries to bed them or whatever, and it never ends well. Like there's either if you say yes, this happens. If you say no, she showed you her true face or whatever. I'm like, I forgot what it was, but I'm like, that's why I don't like scary stuff too. Because as a little kid, when they would tell me all these stories, and I have a very 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 overactive imagination, and so I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not messing with this. But if I had my sister Pandora can sit through these movies, I cannot. I cannot sit through these movies.
They're 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 rough. Like even for they're rough. Like especially like if you like me, like not everybody gets freaked out by like ghost type things. You know what I mean? Some people can just like watch it and it'll just wash over them. They're like, oh yeah, this one like ghost stuff like creeps me out. So like yeah, it is like, and these movies are highly creepy. Like they are highly creepy.
I can't do that. Like, and we did an episode of 2 years ago of
Mhm.
our ghost paranormal experiences. So I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not. No, thank you.
And
um,
the crazy thing about the Conjuring movies, is that they are rated R based on scare factor alone.
really?
Yeah, like because like the first movie is rated R, and there's like no blood or like barely any blood. Like basically everything about like what would make the movie rated R, like it's not rated R. It should be PG-13, except for the fact that it freaks a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like it's really rated R because it's scary.
Yeah, no. I mean, if you're into horror movies, I know a lot of people love getting scared. I don't like that, so I'm not gonna. I might go to Five Nights at Freddy's. Maybe. I've
Uh,
heard some
I
pretty
feel
good,
like that's supposed to be a little more tame though,
more on the
because it's
campy
based on
side.
a video game.
Yeah, that surprised me too. I'm like, didn't the movie just come out? Like, I think 5 years ago was video game came out.
They're a bit older than that. They're a bit older than that. Like I would say probably like early Brooks era for us. Um,
Okay, I did not know that. I thought they were
like they're kind of a cult thing. I've never played Five Nights at Freddy's, but I remember hearing about them for a while though, like
okay.
background, like
Anything else you can think of for recommendations?
binging. Um, beyond that, I said One Piece, but One Piece is forever. You either get it in One Piece or whatever. I'll say a specific anime. I probably brought this up before, but Spy Family isn't that long, but it's a freaking treat. Like Spy Family is like a season. I think they may have just released the second season, but Spy Family, like just about these three separate characters, a little girl, a super spy, and an assassin, and they're kind of like linked by this little girl. And they end up kind of like this family unit, and it's like I've never seen a show that hits me on so many levels. Like it's funny, it has action, it's heartwarming, it's like it's all these things. But Spy Family, and like plot wise, it's like it's Mr. and Mrs. Smith meets the Parent Trap, basically. And if anything about that sounds cool to you, I highly recommend Spy Family. It's one of the best new animes I've seen in a long time, and it's great. Yeah.
Speaking of anime, I'm gonna talk about my favorite anime of all time, and it's a classic. It's as old as I am, as old as we are. I'm gonna recommend this because I've always pushed everyone I can. Saint Seiya, aka Night of the Zodiac. It's one of the first things I ever saw in anime. Um, it is bloody. Like the first episode, one of the main characters got to do the year off, but it was how I learned about. It's definitely much. If I was it's very much a shogun, like it's every trope of a shogun. And for those who don't know what a shogun is, it's pretty much just male fantasy. Like it's these kids fighting. Am I wrong? Am I off?
Just to correct the term, shonen.
Shonen. Sorry, thank you, shonen.
Yeah.
Thank you, shonen. And it's pretty much the very definition of that. It is about these four or five kids who are defenders of Athena, the reincarnation of Athena. Um, and they have armor based on constellations, and they have ranks. There's the gold tier, the bronze tier, and the silver tier. And yeah, gold, bronze, silver. I said that out of order, but we follow the bronze order, the bronze kids, and it's pretty much. I never realized that it was about never giving up, like always fighting, doing whatever it is. And then one example of that is one of the knights or saints fights this guy called has the armor of Perseus, and he has the ability to turn his enemy to stone. So to fight him, to beat him, he pokes his eyes out so that he can't be blind and fight him blind. And I'm like, oh, and then you see the blood streaming down it, and I was 6 years old when I saw this. So I'm like, but I think there's a live action movie that came out, which I thought did a decent job. Like people don't love it. Like my cousins in Mexico didn't like it. I love it. I don't love it. I respect it. I know what they're trying to do. But it's I'll say this. It is better than Dragon Ball Evolution. But that's not saying much though.
All right. Low hanging fruit. Low hanging fruit.
But yes, I think again on Crunchyroll Animation, find it. Maybe the movie too. A lot of the reviews said it was like Power Rangers, but I'm like, I hated that comparison because it's not Power Rangers, but I also love Power Rangers, so I'm like, that's kind of cool, but I don't know what else to. I don't know how to defend against that argument.
I think what it is like it's people's only reference for something like that, right? Like for something that is Japanese inspired and live action and not it doesn't exactly look as good as a Marvel movie. Like so like what do you like usually when I see stuff like that, my go-to description is Hercules the Legendary Journeys. Like that's how I describe stuff like that. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, it's kind of like Hercules, you know what I mean? Like, or whatever. But I can see why people say Power Rangers. I just think that's just their easy go-to reference for something like that, you know? Like,
But yeah, I recommend it's a fun show. It's 117 episodes. The main arc, I think it's called the what's it called? The Golden Knight Saga, I believe I don't know, it's not called that, but there's the first saga. And you can tell because the armors change when the new saga begins, the new story arc begins. Is the main one is the one that everyone fell in love with, at least in Latin America, at least in Mexico. That's the one I recommend. Yeah, it's and that's only like 70 episodes, I believe, 70 episodes. It's a lot of fun if you like teenagers beating each other up.
I tend to like that, to be honest.
But I love Power
I
Rangers.
like a lot of shonen anime.
I think that's all I got. I can't think of anything else right now. I'm looking. I caught up with my Marvel stuff. I caught up with I have a lot of more stuff to watch, but yeah, right now my goal is my comic books. Just catch up my comic books. Um, should we do Sarah's question or should we just do that with Sarah's here?
What we've been watching?
Yeah.
I almost kind of said what I've been watching because I really like because I've been watching. I've really been if I've been watching anything, I really haven't been watching much for the last couple of months. But if I turn something on, because I have been playing a lot more video games, but if I end up turning something on, it's because I'm too tired to play video games, but I want something on before I fall asleep. And it has been either like One Piece or Bleach, the anime. Again, I remember a couple of months ago I was talking on a Frack The Canon episode, and like I had just bought the entire series of Bleach, and I'm still basically working my way through that. So there's another recommendation. You know, you can watch some Bleach, though Bleach. However, unlike One Piece, which is everywhere, Bleach is kind of nowhere. You can find Bleach on Hulu, but that's pretty much like the only place you could find it. Otherwise, it is actually on sale again this week. If you're looking to get the entire series like I did, also Bleach. One of the other reasons I'm going through Bleach is because a year or two ago they they came out with a new series of Bleach, and it is a sequel to the one that I'm watching right now. So I would like to eventually get to where that is. Admittedly, though, Bleach is front heavy with how awesome it is. It's like the first two seasons are really good, and then after that, it kind of falls off hard. Like, so it's not as easy to get through Bleach as it is something else. But it has ups and downs. Basically, it like you know.
What I've been watching is new show is Frasier on Paramount Plus. Um, I am very very underwhelmed with what I'm watching. I'm like, this is not what I expected it to be, but it is first season. It is people finding their voices. I'm like, all right,
So
I'm
you
going to give
thought
it.
what did you think? What did you think? What did you think it was going to be?
I thought it was gonna be at least on par with season one. Where season one was like, honestly, I thought it was gonna be a par because I'm like, he's been playing this character for 20 years. He knows what it's about. And then I'm like, all right, you know what? Maybe with the new, and I get why he got new writers is because the other writers like, we're done with telling those stories. We moved on. Maybe, and he has. It's definitely. But I was like, it is very much a sitcom of today. It was very much like the lowest hanging fruit. I'm like, nah, dude. Like, there have been two episodes. I'm like, ooh, there's that spark. There's that Frasier I love. And I'm like, okay, and that was it was really well done, really really well. But other than that, just generic like Big Bang Theory, Friends. I'm like, dude, like this is like what? I'm very disappointed. I'm not. I'm still watching it because I'm like, I'm hoping there'll be season two, and season two will be better.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm hoping. But because a
There's
lot of people,
always a chance. Oh, cameo wise, are you satisfied with?
so far, it's only been Lilith, and she kills it. She's aged, but she kills it. I know it's been 20 years since we last saw this character.
That comment? Hilarious.
I'm like, I mean, we've all aged, right? Yeah, I might cut that out.
I mean,
But let me do it again.
it's just funny. She's aged, but she's fine wine, Lilith.
You know what? Yeah, I
Yeah.
mm-hmm. But
Lilith was always one of my favorite elements of all of Fraserdom. You know what I mean? Ever since Cheers, like Lilith v. Frasier was always like such an awesome, like just their banter, like their chemistry. You know what I mean? Like, and just her as a character, like what she brings to that character. Like, I've always loved seeing Lilith.
and that's one of the episodes that was really good. I'm like, okay, there's that spark. That's what that show needed because like, okay, we have these legacy characters, Fraser and Lilith. So they kind of feel like, okay, we have to stick to the canon of these characters. So I'm like,
Mm.
okay, cool. Um, what something I wish they would have explored because it kind of touched a little bit was Freddie and David's relationship. They're the cousins. You know, Freddie's Fraser's son, and then David is not Niles and Daphne's kid. I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. Let's see more of that. Let's see more of that interaction between these two
Mm.
characters because we've never seen them. So this and there was, I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. Let's see some of that. And I guess right now, I guess I'm waiting for Perry Gilpin to show up because I love Roz and I love Perry Gilpin. I would feel that she was like so undervalued and so underestimated. That character and that actress, I think she's really, really good.
I would say the actress definitely. I feel like Frasier used Roz effectively.
Mhm.
Like the series. I mean, Frasier. But I do. I think the actress. Yeah, I would agree with you on there. I feel like she's underutilized, and what hadn't been in enough stuff over the years.
Yeah, but yeah, no, like, I'm still watching. I'm still pulling through, but I'm like, it's like I'm on a bunch of Frasier fan groups on Facebook, and it's 50-50. I love it. I hate it. I'm like, I'm in between. Like, I'm literally in between because I'm like, okay, I get it. These are new writers, and I get it too. Like, give them a chance, but I'm like,
But
uh,
also,
yeah,
no, I feel you, like, because we did the reaction, and my thoughts on the matter. Like, I was high. I wouldn't even say I was on the fence. I was against checking it out, even
yeah,
like kind of like, I don't know that I am interested in diving back into that world. Like, I like what that world was, you know what I mean? Like, but coming back to it, I just feel like my fear was a lot of the stuff that you're saying about it right now. You know what I mean? My fear was like, it's just gonna be this attempt to recapture like what this is, but I feel like they're just gonna miss the point. You know what I mean? Like of it, you know what I mean? Because you're always, especially if not the same, like you're always coming at it as somebody trying to emulate this thing from a long time ago. You know what I mean? And you can't be, even as somebody who is sometimes considers himself a writer, can even as somebody like that, like it's so ridiculously hard to step into your own previous mind, like at something that you were working on, and it's like, nah, I'm not that person anymore. Like, so I can't write what that person wrote, actually. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I write something new because, like, I am not him. I am me now. You know what I mean? So I gotta either restart this, like, or like just do something different.
it's funny to say that because I've talked to you this offline too. Like I have two scripts, Love Letter and The Squadron, have gone into different ways because I'm like, I'm not that character, that I'm not that kid who was 18, 19, 20 when you first wrote it. Now I'm 37,
Mm.
37. So I'm like, yeah, I like it. Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, it's yeah, it's weird. Like there, but again, there was 2 episodes where I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, there it is. There's that flash of like, there's something here that can be savable. But it's just like what really kills me is the canned laughter, and it's the generic canned laughter that I'm like, dude, like, no, like some of the jokes are okay, like there are jokes I feel that I would make when I first started writing, maybe even to this day, but I'm like, we can do a little bit better, guys. Come on, this is not the Frasier critique show. This is the Thanksgiving episode. That'll be.
Ah, it just turned into that though.
It really did. But we'll talk about that hopefully in another episode. Yeah,
My dad is,
final thoughts.
speaking of Frasier. My dad is loving Frasier though. By the way, he's
Is he
watching it.
really?
He's loved it.
That's good. I mean, I'm glad someone likes it. I'm glad there's a fan base because I'm like, I don't want to be like, I feel like I love Frasier, but I'm like, I don't want to be the one hating. I'm like, it killed me inside that I'm not liking it, CJ.
I didn't expect. I don't know. It was one of those things. Like I never wanted them to do it, to actually do it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because Frasier is one that I did like growing up. You know what I mean? And then watching it as an adult, it is one that I can still appreciate and appreciate how genius it is. You know what I mean? And I do use the word genius for some of the for at least some of its heyday. You know what I mean? It does fall off towards the end, but like in its hey, like it was like genius level comedy, I think. But as someone
Oh,
who felt that way, it's like, and like I wasn't super keen to come back into it. There are like for many reasons, on the Frasier show we even did, you know what I mean? I'm just like, I don't really feel like there's a lot of stuff that can have success in the day that it had success and then come back later and then like, succeed on the same level just because the world has moved on from that kind of from what they enjoyed about that, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
so like now it's like who still likes, the character just has to be super timeless, but they have to be able to evolve and change to become something that a new world likes too. You know what I mean? Like when I think about characters that stand the test of time, the only thing I can think of is like cartoon characters, right? Like Mickey Mouse or Bugs Bunny or something like that. And it's like, yeah, these characters have been around for like, almost 100 years now. Like, but they changed though. You know what I mean? These characters have also evolved, like their looks, the way they talk. Like there's elements of the way they used to talk, sure, but like you know what I mean? Like these characters have to evolve, they have to change and become something new in order for the public to latch onto them or stay with them. You know what I mean? And it's like if Frasier becomes something new, then you lose your old. You know what I mean? That's the dilemma of
Mhm.
bringing something back. If you make this something new, you lose the old fans. You know what I mean? Like if you don't make it something new, good luck getting new fans. You know what I mean? Like so.
Yeah, no, and yeah, it's yeah, I know because there is a show called Doctor Who. If you know about people watching, probably know, but like that reinvents itself, but it's still the same character. So that's kind of like there's a genius in that. You can't do that with Frasier. Like, and I think this has proven that This is definitely gone off what I wanted to go, but
Whatever. Happy
it's
Thanksgiving, everyone. Whatever. You know what I mean? Hang out.
hang out. No, happy Thanksgiving. Nerd out with us. Like we can't hear you, but we'll leave in the comments. We'll reply back if it's nice. I mean, if it's a nice, if it's a thoughtful argument or something like that, not if you just like, hey, frack you guys or whatever, just like, oh, nerd or any racist comments. We won't respond to that. But
feel free to do it anyway, because
yeah, feel free.
we do laugh. We do laugh.
Final comments, final thoughts.
Nah, man, I got nothing else.
I got nothing else either. Thank you, CJ. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for nerding out. I know you've been busy. I'm glad we were able to do this. Yeah. Thank you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your food with your family or whatever you're doing. Frack off.